The morning it began, at least the morning I finally noticed something was wrong, was nothing extraordinary. It was a Thursday in early October, the kind the Midwest likes to pretend is still summer, even though the wind insists otherwise. I had a dentist appointment at 9 a.m., and I was running late, the way middle-aged single mothers often are, juggling errands, work, and the tail ends of responsibilities that never quite stay where they're supposed to. My name is Elaine Foster, 48 years old, homeowner of a modest split-level house on the outskirts of Columbus, Ohio. I've spent the last 26 years teaching third-grade English at Oak Ridge Elementary, which means I can read a child's lie from the twitch of an eyebrow or the way their shoes suddenly become the most interesting thing in the world. You'd think that intuition might have helped me with my own child, but motherhood is funny that way. You can know everything about kids and still know nothing when the one in trouble is the one you carried. I opened my purse that morning looking for my debit card. Instead, I found a neat, unmistakable little gap in my wallet where a $50 bill had been. The last one. I remembered it because I had withdrawn $100 the previous Sunday, two 20s and a 50. The 20s were there, the 50 wasn't. For a moment, I genuinely tried to gaslight myself. Maybe I used it at the grocery store. No, I used my card. Maybe at the gas station. No, I hadn't used cash all week. I frowned into the wallet like it had personally betrayed me. That's when I heard footsteps coming down the hallway. My son, my 22-year-old, still trying to figure his life out, newly returned to my house son, walked into the kitchen in sweatpants and a hoodie. Daniel, my only child. The boy who used to bring me dandelions from the backyard like they were roses. The boy who once cried because he broke a glow stick and thought he killed the light. The boy who now avoided eye contact like it burned. "Morning," I said, forcing casual cheeriness into my voice. "Hey," he muttered, pouring cereal into a bowl and immediately heading for the living room, as though prolonged presence near me caused allergic reactions. I stood there, my hand frozen inside my purse. I wanted to ask him. I wanted to blurt it out right there, "Danny, did you take the money?" But the words felt too heavy, too accusing, too real. So instead, I zipped the purse closed. "Have you been sleeping okay?" I asked. "Yep," he said, without turning around. And that was that. The missing 50 went unmentioned, but it didn't go unnoticed. Things don't go wrong all at once. They dissolve, slowly, like a sugar cube under warm water. That $50 turned out to be the first sugar cube. Over the next 2 weeks, small things began to go missing. Things so trivial I wanted to believe I was imagining it. A couple more bills, a silver bracelet I never wore but always kept in my drawer, an old iPod from my teaching days that I hadn't seen since 2022. Then one morning, I found my desk drawer slightly open. Not wide, just an inch. An inch is enough to break your peace. I stared at it for a long time, my heart beating a dull drum against my ribs. I kept my passport in that drawer, along with a folder containing my social security card, car title, and birth certificate. The folder was undisturbed, or so I thought, but something felt off. Danny had been home that afternoon. I'd heard him moving around upstairs while I was making dinner. Was he looking for something? Looking at something? Looking for more of something? I told myself I didn't want to snoop, that checking on my own paperwork felt like accusing my child of something horrible. But motherhood isn't just love, it's vigilance. So I opened the folder. Social security card, there. Birth certificate, there. Car title, there. Everything was there, except tranquility. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at nothing. My brain was that quiet, muffled kind of loud that happens when you know the truth but aren't ready to hear it. My son had done a stint in rehab last year, another thing Americans whisper about like it's a shame instead of an illness. Opioid pills, apparently first prescribed after he'd injured his shoulder during an intramural soccer game in college. Then misused, then relied on. He'd gotten clean. Supposedly. Also, the rehab center said when they released him, He'd stayed sober for 8 months, according to him. But the thing about addiction is that it likes to hide. It waits. It re-emerges with soft hands and burning hunger. I closed the folder, but I didn't close the fear. It was a Tuesday night when the call came. I was watching reruns of Jeopardy while grading spelling worksheets, trying to decipher whether 8-year-olds were spelling because wrong out of confusion or spite. Danny hadn't come home yet. He'd said he was meeting a friend. He didn't say which one. The phone buzzed on the coffee table. Unknown number. I picked it up. Hello? Is this Elaine Foster? A voice asked. Female, crisp, weary. Yes. This is Officer Rachel Donnelly with the Columbus Police Department. My breath stopped, then sped up, then stopped again. Is my son okay? I blurted before she could continue. Yes, she said quickly. He's not injured. But the pause after that yes made my stomach twist. She continued. We have your son here at the precinct. He's not under arrest, but we'd like someone to come pick him up. Heat crawled up my neck. Shame, fear, anger, emotions with teeth. What happened? I whispered. She hesitated again. He was found sleeping in his car outside a closed shopping centre. Someone called it in. The officers on scene suspected possible substance influence. We conducted a field evaluation. Nothing chargeable was found. But he shouldn't be driving like that. My legs were trembling. I'll come get him, I managed. When I got there, the lobby was almost empty except for a vending machine humming in the corner and a janitor pushing a mop. Danny sat on a metal bench, slouched, his hoodie pulled low, hands clasped like he was praying or pretending to be. He looked up when he heard my footsteps. His eyes were red, pupils small. Mum, he whispered, and just like that, my heart cracked. Because I knew. I didn't need tests. I didn't need officers. I knew. I thanked Officer Donnelly, took my son by the arm, and led him outside. He smelled like stale sweat and mint gum, an attempt to cover up something else. We didn't speak on the drive home. The silence between us grew and grew, filling the car like thick fog. When we got home, he muttered, "Thanks for picking me up," and went straight to his room. I stood in the kitchen, gripping the counter until my knuckles whitened. Addiction is a thief, but it rarely steals alone. My mouth went dry. I hadn't used that card in weeks. I called the number immediately. The representative confirmed multiple attempts, gas station, online vape shop, a convenience store downtown. Did you authorize these charges? He asked. No, I said, even though part of me wanted to scream, but I know who did. We cancelled the card. I hung up. Then I walked upstairs. Danny's bedroom door was closed. I knocked. No answer. I knocked again, louder. Yeah, his voice said, groggy and irritated. Can you open the door? There was a long pause. Then the click of a lock. He opened the door only halfway. What? We need to talk. He sighed dramatically but stepped aside. The room smelled faintly of sweat and something chemical, something sharp, artificial, bitter. The bedsheets were tangled, clothes piled on the floor, empty soda bottles, a half-eaten sandwich on the desk. Did you take my credit card info? I asked plainly. He didn't even pretend to misunderstand. His jaw tightened. I don't know what you're talking about. Danny, don't lie to me. He looked away. My voice cracked. Please. A long, agonizing silence stretched between us. Then he exhaled. Fine, he muttered. Yeah, I used it. The card, I mean. Not the physical card, just the number. I needed gas. Gas doesn't cost almost $500. He didn't answer. Tears pricked my eyes. He finally said, Look, I was going to pay you back. With what money? I asked softly. He didn't respond. I swallowed hard. Are you using again? That question hung in the air like smoke. His lips twitched, but he didn't meet my eyes. Danny, I whispered, please tell me the truth. He looked at the floor, rubbing his palms on his sweatpants. Then he whispered one word. Maybe. and my world tilted.